So September was the slowest month we've had all year for the city of Toronto. These are the stats that just came out from the Toronto Real Estate Board, and I think this is the kind of stuff you guys need to know before you guys buy or sell in Toronto anytime soon. So let's get started. What I've done is I divided Toronto up into like three different regions, like West, Central, and East, because Toronto has like 1,000 different markets, so for me to say, oh, this is what's happening in Toronto wouldn't make any sense, because what's happening in the West is going to be different than East and North and South. So the most I could do, at least for this video, was at least divide it up into three different regions. So West is going to include, like Etobicoke, Mimico, and even Jane and Finch all the way up there. And Central is going to include like downtown Toronto and all the way up and down Yonge Street. East is going to include a whole bunch of markets in the East End, including the big one, Scarborough. This is how many homes have been selling every single month in each region. So all the way from January to September, you can see and the peak of the market was March. For every single market, the peak of the market was March for number of homes sold. So you can see here, at the peak of the market in all of Toronto, 3,981 homes sold. And now it has been going down every single month since March, and now it is showing the lowest number of homes sold, which is in September at 1,744. At the peak of the market, 1,968 homes sold in Central, and it has been going down every single month because the rate hikes came in, and in September only 816 homes were sold in all of Central Toronto. And so that would make September the slowest month of the year we've had so far this year. Now, what is the percentage drop? If you guys are wondering, like, okay, how much has the market dropped by in terms of number of homes sold? The West End is down 54% since the peak of the market, which was March. And Central is down 59% since the peak of the market. And East End is down 54%. Now let's look at prices, because everybody wants to know what the prices are, and so let's look at average prices for now. I will get into median prices later on in the video, but let's start off with average prices. So at the peak of the market in Central, they were selling for 2.95. That is a detached house, and in September that dropped to 2.43. That is a drop of 18%. In the West End, which includes, like I mentioned before, like Etobicoke, a whole bunch of different markets, they were selling for 1.69, and now in September that is dropped to 1.35. That is a drop of 20%. Same thing with the East End, it is down 22% compared to the peak of the market. So on average, I would say a detached house is down about 20% or so in all of Toronto. And we're not done, but if you guys enjoy this kind of stuff, please consider subscribing, because it takes me a long time to prepare this, and I don't play around with the stats in any way. I just plug them in and present them to you as they appear on the Toronto Real Estate Board. So let's look at average prices for condos. Condos at the peak of the market in Central, which includes downtown Toronto, they were selling for $863,000. And in September, they have dropped to 827, which is a drop of only 4%. But keep in mind, these are average prices, so they do fluctuate more than I would say median prices. When I get into median prices, you will see later on, they're down about 10%. And in the West End, they were selling for $751,000, and now they're down to $669,000, which is a drop of 11%. Same thing with East End, they're down about 12% for average price in condo. Now, what I also want to do was I also want to do like a 4-year comparison, because the last 2 years have been kind of all over the place, so it's kind of, for a lot of people, it's kind of tough to get a read on the market. So a lot of people requested, like, hey, why don't you go back 4 years so we can get a better idea of long-term what's been happening. So this is what's been happening for the last 4 years in the city of Toronto. Same thing as before, I've divided it up into like West Toronto, Central Toronto, East Toronto. So this is what in September only. So this is September 2019, September 2020, you get the idea. So in September 2019, average price for a detached in the West End was 1.19, and then it went up to 1.32, and then it peaked in 2021 at 1.45. Well, it actually peaked in February and March of this year. But if we're comparing September only, Yeah, and then it went up to 1.45 and now it has dropped to 1.35. So any agent that might be telling you that, hey, you know what, at least the prices are still higher than what they were last year, maybe you guys want to keep this in mind because they are not. They have actually dropped below what they were selling for last year. Same thing with Central. Um, they were selling for 2.7 last year, and now they're selling for 2.43. So it is still higher than what they were selling for in 2020. Whether the prices go below this or not, I don't know. Like I'm not I'm not a psychic. But if you guys want to leave a comment below, let me know. Do you guys think the prices will eventually go below what they were selling for in 2020? So, I'd be interested to kind of see, get feedback from you guys. See what you think. So in the East End, they were selling for $964,000 in 2019, and now they're selling for 1.23. Like I said before, they've dropped below what they were selling for in last year. And whether it gets here, we'll just kind of wait and see. I'll kind of keep you guys updated. So September prices for condos as well, same thing. I've taken September of each year, like 2019, 2020, and so on. And in September 2019, in Central Toronto, average condo cost was $719,000. Then it went up to all the way to 806, and now it is selling at 827. So this condos is still higher than what it was selling for last year because condo market is still doing somewhat okay compared to detached homes and semi-detached homes, but it has dropped quite a bit compared to what they were selling for in March of this year, February and March. In the East End, same thing. They are still selling above what they were selling for last year. So we'll just wait and see to see if they match the price of last year or if they go even below last year. Now let's look at median prices because they tend to be a little bit more stable than average prices. So percentage drop since the peak of the market for a detached median. In the Toronto West End, prices are down 22% if you look at median prices only for a detached house. Central is down 19% and East End is down 25%. So I say about 20%. Same thing with average prices, they were down about 22%. So this is kind of in line with average prices. Now let's look at condos. How are condos doing for median prices? So in the West End, condos are down 11% compared to the peak of the market. And in Central, they're down about 9%. Remember, in average prices, they were down only 4%. So this is 9%. So take somewhere in the middle would make sense if you want to get a good idea of the market. And in the East End, they're down 17%. So that's a big drop. Now, I have made other videos, like I just made one for Brampton, and Brampton is struggling as well. So if you guys want to check that out, I'll leave a link down below. If you guys want to check out what happened in Brampton for September, I will be posting other videos for like in the West End, like Burlington, Oakville, Milton, and I'll try to do one for Durham as well, like Ajax, Oshawa, Whitby, and stuff. So keep an eye out for those, and I think that's about it. And I'll see you later. Thanks. See ya.